Let's begin.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
great. So, welcome to the show Eat with the Owner.
Thank you, Mr. Owner.
Mr. Owner, yeah. Yeah, today is the episode 36. Yeah, so we got some lot of guests already.
36 already.
Yeah, yeah. So, what's your name? Could you,
Martin.
Martin? Your last name?
Leroy. Leroy.
It's okay, Leroy. Is that like French name?
Yes, it's a French name.
It's the
I have another last name also. Deslauriers. Deslauriers. So Leroy is from my mother, and Deslauriers is from my father.
Oh, cool. They're both of them French name, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
so you were born here in
I was
Montreal?
born here. My mother was born here also, but she's actually really French descent from France.
Okay, French, because they Jardin.
Yeah.
So that's very French.
Yeah, my father's like from a long Quebecer family.
Okay.
Originally, many years ago,
Okay.
I guess they were from France, but my mom it's closer to France.
Okay, great. So, but your first language is French, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, well, French, English.
Yeah.
That's what I admire. A lot of people like in Montreal.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Montreal is great for that.
Yeah.
If you know both language, it's a beautiful.
It's
city.
amazing. It's a heaven. That's what I always tell everybody.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, if you speak both French and English, Montreal is heaven. Yeah, it's heaven.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning my French.
Well, French is difficult.
Yeah.
French as a second language, it's so crazy difficult.
It would be third language for me.
Third language, huh?
Yeah.
Why? Mandarin, English.
English,
and,
yeah. I spent a lot of time learning English. Now I have to learn French.
Yeah,
you know.
English is a bit easier, I think, as a second language.
I guess it's the same because I started learning English when I was in high school.
Okay.
So some people even start in China. They start in kindergarten.
I know.
So,
I taught in China at kindergarten students in English.
Yeah. But right now it's probably going to reverse that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the English education in China right now, it's kind of put a little bit on hold.
Oh really?
Yeah, because the new policy of the government or whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's happening in the past 2 years or something.
Okay.
So in the school you have exams. So before, at least my time, it was the Chinese language, the mathematics, and the English. Those three subjects, the most important, like fundamental, essential subjects. You always pass. Right now they are removing English from those kind of.
What's the reason?
I cannot tell, but it's
patriotic reason, maybe.
Could be. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit new direction.
Yeah.
Some kind of how it's heading. So too much English there, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I was growing up in a rural area, so I did not have a chance. The condition did not allow. We started English earlier, so I studied in the high school.
Okay.
So after that, even around the same time in the city, they started in the primary school and then kindergarten.
Where are you from exactly? Which province?
Jiangsu province, but it's a village, so pretty tough that time.
Never went to Jiangsu.
Yeah. Jiangsu. Where did you go?
I've traveled a bit in Beijing, in the Henan province. I went to Hong Kong, and
Hainan or Henan?
Henan.
The inner city, inner province.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And I lived for almost 2 years in Shanghai.
Shanghai. Oh, that's amazing.
From 2010 to 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
That time was still already very good, right?
Yeah, it was still very fun for expats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. To save some time, we can start ordering food right away.
Oh wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I feel so privileged.
You can order whatever you want today.
Well, do you remember our favorite food?
I guess the hot pepper beef, right?
Here you go.
You guys always order.
Oh yeah,
hot pepper
it's
beef.
so good. It's so good. Honestly, I'm gonna follow your recommendation.
Actually, it's better you order. Actually, to be honest,
real?
because I ate too much. I had a lot.
Okay. Well, hot pepper beef for sure.
Yeah.
I really like the cabbage stir fry.
Okay. Cabbage stir fry is sometimes the quality really depends on the
On
the
vegetable.
cabbage, cabbage itself. We call Korean cabbage for some. It's a show flat, show plat. In French will be show plat.
Okay.
But it's like it's a the flat one, round flat like a saucer.
For sure, still good.
Yeah, it's good. But sometimes you see it's thinner. The thinner, the better.
The
quality.
thinner, the better.
Yeah.
The quality.
Yeah, the quality.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes
Interesting.
it's kind of the wrong cabbage is really hard. Whatever you do, it's just not tasting well.
Really?
But the flat one, like this, like a UFO, the shape like UFO.
That's the best one.
That's the best one. They call Korean cabbage.
Okay, I'll remember that.
But even the same shape, the thickness is the key.
Itself.
Yeah, and it's a little bit fluffy, more fluffy, and the better.
Okay, interesting. Want me to order more or?
Yeah, for sure. Like. It's a buffet, so you can eat a buffet.
Wow.
So it's
what about the poached fish?
that one is very spicy.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Want that one?
Yeah.
Oh, you want one more to?
Sure.
Is there something you haven't tried before, or
That's
something?
a good idea. Something I haven't tried. What about? I never tried this. Is that new? Grilled beef slices?
It's not new, but it's may not be good for this. It's gonna be good everywhere.
Okay.
The oil, it's kind of too hot.
Yeah. Do you have any suggestion?
Really, you want to try something you haven't tried, or how about the fish fillet thing?
Fish?
Yeah. This one is sweet, spicy. Oh, no, it's very sweet. Called the tomato sauce, fish filling, tomato, or the salt and pepper.
I think I tried this one. I never tried this one.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
You want to try that one?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
Cool. Fish fillet and tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Awesome.
2 steamed rice, right?
Yes.
Okay. I go quickly
All
to
right.
get the order to the kitchen. So the camera will keep going.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, we met almost like 5 years ago when we were in the Coding Edge, right?
Yes, we did. Which year did it open, the restaurant?
2014.
2014? I think we
Early
met
February.
in 2015.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
2015 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that time you were not married to that time she was your girlfriend, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we used to always come to your place in Côte des Neiges. It was like every night we would look at each other and let's cook. Nah, let's go to Andai.
Yeah, that's why.
So easy.
Yeah. Even the time like you told us you're gonna get married, right?
Yeah, just in front, right? At the church just in front of your place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
There was, I guess there were 2 or 3 churches. Like a lot of, I guess like your wife is from Philippines, right?
My wife is from
Philippines. She was born there?
She was born there. Yeah,
Okay.
She arrived in. Crazy story. She arrived in Canada in 2012, which is the same year I came back from China.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like it was meant to be, you know.
Well, yeah, but her English was like I thought like she was here like super young or.
She'll be happy. You say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has good English. She she learned in the Philippines. There's a big English curriculum also because it's like the second official language if you want. First language is Tagalog, but there's many different dialects and like the official language for the government and business and stuff like that. It's kind of English.
Okay.
Not everybody speaks it, but they learn it at school.
Yeah, documents, whatever.
Yeah. And when she arrived here in 2012, she was working with the English family.
Okay.
So she didn't have the choice to
Wow.
Very to practice and learn very fast.
That's amazing.
But she'll be happy you say that her English is good.
My impression would be like some people they came from other countries super young, super young, so they pick up very easy the language, the culture thing. So she was very natural. Like you kind of the first time I saw you guys, like I thought like she was born here. Probably born
she
here.
Has good English, very good English.
Of a Philippine.
Well, it's because my wife has this. It's very annoying. She has this like natural talent in everything she tries. Everything she tries, she will
learn quick,
very quickly.
Yeah, quick.
Like me, even if I love something, I will have to train or practice and study a lot before I get it. Her, in a matter of a couple of study lessons, she will get it.
That's amazing. But for you, do you mind tell when were you born or what year?
Of course, I was born in 1983.
So you're a little bit younger than me. So I was born in 79. So 4 years different.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be 40 years old in February.
Yeah. I'm 43 already.
You don't look 43, so that's good. Must be the food.
No, I look like Chinese people. A lot of time they don't show the age, but a lot of people for Chinese they can tell I'm 50 already.
Really?
Yeah, seriously, because I have look darker and then the mustache, whatever.
Well, you don't. I'm telling you, you don't look 43.
I hope so. But,
so I was born in 1983 in Montreal. I've lived all my life in Montreal. Traveled quite a bit, but I was always, except for from 2010 to 2012.
But that's the kind of the most time you stay outside of Canada.
Yes. It wasn't the first time I went to China. Like I traveled many times before, but a long time like that, it was the first time.
But were you learning English when you were very young, or?
Actually, I wasn't fluent in English until I was like 16 or 17.
Because that time was a little bit like in Quebec, it's kind of separation movement, right?
Yeah, it was still there. It was still
95,
there.
the second time, the referendum.
Second time, I was in high
You were
school.
12 already, so you were kind of your ideas. That time, what were you thinking? Like you were 12, you have full of ideas, probably.
Most of them changed.
You always change your mind.
You know, my father is actually a French teacher at university for second language French.
Okay, but so he must be really pro-independent, right?
That's the thing. He was with the first independent movement when he was younger, but with the second one in '95, he was against it.
Really?
Yeah, because for him it's beautiful that we have, and for me also. And I share this idea. It's beautiful that we have one country with a lot of diversity. Why separate? Well, it's my opinion, right? But why separate? Because you have a different diversity or different identity, we can unite in a beautiful, diverse country, right?
Yeah, especially you have two major cultures like French, English. That's beautiful. You have two in the same country. That's what the other country admire, envy.
It is. So for my father, even though he was a French teacher, even though he still is a French teacher, and French is very important for him, speaking very well French, it was really important for him that I learn English. So what he did, he made me learn English the same way he learned English when he was young. He made me watch movies because I love movies. In English, in their original language, since I was like 10 years old. And he told me, you will watch any movie you want. I loved martial arts movies, so violent movies, 13 and plus, 16 and plus, adult movies, no problem, but it has to be in English. So for most of the time, I was not understanding anything, but at some point, something happened in my head, and I was at the dinner party at my parents. Someone talked to me in English, and I answered in English, and my father was like, "It worked."
That's amazing.
Yeah. So for him, and he's a teacher, so he knows about language. The best way to learn a language is to watch a movie in the language that you want to learn, because you have the visual and you have the
listening. That's amazing.
Yeah. And at the same time, because he told me to watch movies in English, and he was showing me like old Chuck Norris movies, Steven Seagal movies, Van Damme. I developed a passion with martial arts with that. So he had the dual purpose. Yeah. His first purpose was that I learned English. Okay. His second purpose is that to brainwash me a bit with martial arts, because since I'm shorter than everyone, he wanted me to learn to defend myself. But he didn't want to force me, so he kind of brainwashed me with the movies to learn martial arts.
But he's into martial arts too?
When he was young, he was a bit into martial arts, but never like I became. Like his brainwashing really worked. Ooh.
Oh, that's the first one.
Awesome.
Okay, 谢谢. So are you a fan of Bruce Lee as well?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Who isn't?
A lot of people, they said the conspiracy of Bruce Lee, the death around himself and his son, right? Brandon Lee? Or...
There was so many theories and so many conspiracies because it was so weird the way they died.
Yeah, so weird. That's
and you so cannot similar, explain. You know.
It's not a. You cannot explain.
Yeah. So, but when there's always when there's mystery, the people find conspiracy theories, right? Because it's easy.
But also he got too many enemies.
Of course,
they said from the movie business.
Yeah.
He said I guess the movie the big boss is from Hong Kong movies, right?
Yeah.
So he was not making money for them anymore.
Yes.
Stop.
There's this side of the story. Yeah. So enemies within movie business, but he had enemies in the Chinese community also because he was teaching the secret of the Chinese community, the Kung Fu secrets.
Really?
Yeah. And Chinese people in America
they did not like it.
Didn't like it because he was teaching stuff that they were keeping to themselves to protect themselves against racism and stuff like that. Oh. But Bruce's idea was to...
Why open? Let's share the...
Exactly. Share the culture so people will understand
Share the knowledge at least. You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can I dive in?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Wow. Let me check it's still running or not.
This is so good. My God.
No, to be honest, like for myself, I never ordered this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Us, my wife and I, it's our favorite here. Oh wow!
Yeah, the hot pepper beef.
And so tender. She tried to recreate it at home, I think, but without success.
I guess we just need to marinate with the little bit. All the meats, I guess. I've been working in kitchen during the whole pandemic. So I know a lot of stuff for the kitchen before I kind of all the running everywhere, working the IT.
So you work on IT on top of running this restaurant?
Yeah.
Wow, so you're a busy man.
For me, it's like I had to play it safe. Mm-hmm. To have at least a stable family income.
So it's like a backup plan, and
So as long as the business was not doing very bad, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's always like I work like 2 jobs almost, but if you work more time, probably you can accumulate more, so save up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can like foster a baby business.
Yeah.
So it's kind of safe.
Yeah.
So you don't have to invest a lot.
Yeah, and your risks are
lower.
Lower
because we did not have much to invest. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a safe option. Just work more hours yourself.
Yeah. This is good. I like it.
That's why in the past, I guess 8-9 years, I guess I work most during my whole life. I work really a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Even today is most exhausting, physically very exhausting in the pandemic. Last 2 or 3 years.
It was mainly I guess it was mainly delivery, right, during the pandemic.
Delivery, some takeout.
Some takeout. Okay. We ordered a couple of times.
Yeah, the first year the delivery takeout support the business.
Yeah, so it's a good thing because so many business, not only restaurant but so many businesses close.
As long as the small business, Yeah, as you said, not only restaurant business, all the small business they affected like crazy.
For sure. For sure. But I guess in the pandemic, during the pandemic, your IT business didn't go down because everybody was online and everything, right?
So overall, the IT business kind of benefited a little bit more.
Yeah,
from,
that's it.
But unfortunately, I was laid off in the April, end of April 2020.
Okay, that's bad.
But that forced me to spend all my time in the restaurant. So it helped the restaurant.
And now, do you still work in IT?
No,
No,
I don't want to go back.
Oh, you don't want to go back. So now you're focusing completely on the restaurant.
Wow, the pepper is really spicy.
I love it.
Every batch is a little bit different sometimes. Sometimes really hot, sometimes it kind of a little bit mild.
Yeah, sometimes it's not spicy at all, but oh, that's another spicy one. Man, this is so good. Also, this is our second favorite, I think.
Yeah, this one is always popular.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is popular.
With the non-Chinese people also.
Yeah, a lot of Indians they eat a lot of.
Of course, because they love spicy.
Yeah, Indian people like crazy. Like they eat a lot of spicy. Every time I warn them, like this is a little bit too spicy. They said, don't worry. And I asked, how do you like it? Not spicy that much. Not that much.
I think the spiciest food I tasted was in Thailand. In Thailand, it's crazy spicy, and like in many menus for tourists, you have 5 levels of spiciness.
Okay.
But the first level of spiciness, the less spicy, it's like super spicy here.
Really?
You know?
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.
So they put 5 chilies next to it, or like 3-4 chilies?
Something like that, yeah. But for Thailand, Thai people, peppers are actually a medicinal herb. They consider it as medicinal, so they throw it everywhere, I guess. And it's true that small pepper, the red peppers, there's much more vitamin C in this than in orange.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. It's so good.
You're welcome. So for the sovereignty thing, like that time, like you said, you changed your. But that time you were kind of as a 12 or 13 years old, like mainly French speaking. Probably you're gonna say like, let's go for it, right?
Actually, no, because I was too young and too immature, so I was following my father's vision.
Okay.
And at that time, he was for unity. But now I'm still for unity, but for my own conviction, not because I follow my father. You know?
But like during that time, every family, like young boy and the parents, they have to talk about that, right?
Yeah,
a lot, right?
Yeah.
So almost every day, the topic on the dinner table.
It was the big talk of the time, and it came close. Huh? It came close. It was almost 50-50. But I don't know. I'm kind of happy. We're still in part of Canada, and I respect any political opinion, but Canada is such a big and diverse and
a lot of people like, especially the people like the nation sovereignty nation, but like they don't see that like economy suffered a lot from that movement, so the whole economy kind of went down like crazy, right? They just point to it could be other reasons, but it's obvious.
I guess so. I'm not well versed enough in this, but it's also the fact that I think it sends the wrong message. If you want to separate because you want one nation, one country, it's like, what does it say about immigrants after that? How are you going to view immigrants? You know, it's like I prefer the philosophy of all inclusiveness, and I mean, my wife is an immigrant, and if Canada and Quebec were separated today, I would have never met her. She would have never gone to Quebec. She would have gone to Canada. You know.
Actually, before I came here, I came here 2005 or 6. I did not know this French language for Canada. We always thought it's an English country.
So you arrived here and big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise. This way we thought like always like Canada, United States, you know, they're kind of brothers, you know, they're always English, like part of the English circle.
Yeah, we're the minority in the north here.
That's why it has values, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, many people wanted to separate to protect the language. That was their first motivation. And many people now are for the Bill 96, the new bill of our Prime Minister to go to protect the language. But I don't think it's the right way to protect the language. And anyway, there's already the Law 101 that forces children of immigrants to go in school in French.
Like my daughter,
your daughter,
almost 10.
She speaks French,
right?
right?
Yeah, she went to a public school, French public school.
Yo, so you don't speak French right now, but your daughter speaks French.
Yeah.
So where's the problem?
Exactly.
Right? And same thing for my wife. Her auntie is here, has been here for a long time. She doesn't speak French, but her children, the cousins of my wife, they speak French. So I don't understand where the problem is.
I can speak French well if I spend a lot of time learning, but first of all, I have to support the family.
Yeah, of course.
I need to work a lot of hours to support the family.
Exactly. And French, you cannot learn French in 6 months of classes. My father is a French teacher, and he's the first one to say it's impossible. But again, the generation after the first generation of immigrants that come here, because of Law 101, they will be able to speak French. So I really don't understand what the problem is. So this is
the tomato sauce fish fillet.
Ooh. Yeah, I think it's the first time I tasted it.
It's kind of it's like a sweet version of this fish.
Oh, it's very good. It's the same kind of fish?
Yeah.
It's really, really good. It's nice because it's the same fish, but it tastes completely different.
This is deep fried a little bit, and then this is just boiled.
Very good. I'll have to try this with the chatty next time we come.
You know, it's sometimes if they want people to learn French, like you just force the environment. You know, you attract people to learn instead of force people.
Exactly.
You know? If you are
if
you are virtual, you're good. You know, people are attracted to your stuff.
Make it more appealing.
Right? More appealing. And so, if you force people, they're gonna resent somehow. Doing the opposite. You know.
I'm the same way. If you force me to do something, I don't want to do it. But if something looks interesting and I want to do it by myself, I'm gonna learn it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think they really use, because for me, the preservation of French, it's our culture. It's important.
Especially,
but they're really using the wrong strategy. You know?
Especially in Montreal, like for companies, if you have employees speaking French, speaking English, Italian, Chinese, Hindu, and Punjabi, it's your asset. You know, you can talk to different clients from different part of the world. But if you force them to speak French, and then if you cannot speak, you cannot join. So that's totally the opposite. You're turning your advantage points into like a disadvantage. You know.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's really really bad management. Like you're wasting a lot of your assets, especially the immigrants from all over the country to Montreal.
Totally agree.
Yeah. If you are a company, you have so many people speaking so they can serve.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, serve a lot of. They can talk to people in Italy in Italian, their native language. It's amazing to get their customers.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have better business. That's your really you talk to Chinese customers, like someone who is speaking Mandarin, and it's amazing to get you more business, more profits.
I agree. I agree.
So the companies in Montreal could be a commercial center because you have this kind of so many talents from all of the places. They speak so many languages.
And all that while recognizing that there's a strong French culture and French nation in Quebec, in the Quebec province. But that doesn't mean it cannot coexist with multiculturalism.
Especially in Montreal, it's such a big city, and the status on the global map is kind of diminishing every day.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be a mag city. Like you have look at the whole city. You always, if you look at the Google map or whatever, the Montreal as a city is almost none in the world. It's the best in the world. You have 2 rivers wrapping an island.
Yeah.
And the natural beauty, it's kind of the unique in the best in the world.
I totally agree. Yeah. It could be a beautiful city. Yeah. That's how I see it. Yeah. There wasn't all this construction.
You have to become a first-class city. You have to have the economic, at least, and then you have the culture. You have the the society, the art, everything.
Yeah.
But without the economy power backing everything, so you can't be the top tier.
It's a sad reality, but it is a reality. Yeah. I totally agree on that. And
it's just like the leaders of all levels, they just kind of ruin the city, the great city, with all the policies.
I totally agree with you. And
every time you see the Boston is beautiful. Look at the seaside. It's beautiful. And New York is a port city as well. A lot of water, the sea, right? But it's not as Montreal. It's all sides.
Yeah.
So just one side is pretty, like a lot of water, waterfront, and it's open sea, right? You from New York or Boston, you look far is the sea, high sea, right?
Yeah.
But that's only part of the city. But Montreal is water everywhere. It's everywhere.
No, there's definitely some bad management there.
Yeah. And you have Montreal, in Montreal area, you have a lot of small hills. The terrain is beautiful, and not too high, elevation not too high, not too low. It's you have woods. It's the typical beauty.
Did you know that the outdoor architect who designed the Mount Royal Park is the same that designed Times Square? Not Times Square.
The Central Park.
Central Park.
Oh, kind of heard that.
Yeah.
Central Park is pretty.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to New York in November.
But since your father was a teacher at that time, what educating your family was a big thing, or just relax and then?
You mean in general education?
Yeah. Now you have to get the bachelor degree, or is that kind of?
He was
emphasis?
kind of in that mentality. For them, for my parents, it was really important that I go to university, so I did. I didn't necessarily go in exactly in what I would have wanted to be, to go to, but I still went, and I learned very interesting stuff. But I don't work at all in the field I study right now.
Okay.
But it was important for them that I go to university. What I realize now, though, if I ever have kids, is that university, for me, right? This is only my opinion. University is great, but if you're not passionate about the subject you're going to learn at university, better off go do a technical CJEP and only 3 years and be on the work market and make a lot of money and have a good job right away, because so many subjects at university. For example, I studied in political science. What do you want me to do with that after? Right? So many subjects at university, unless you stay in the academic cursus and academic way of life, there's no real concrete job necessarily afterwards. So unless you're passionate about your subject, if you're passionate about subject, whether it's art history or whatever, go study in that. That's beautiful. But if you're not passionate, why force yourself to go to a university curriculum when you could have a good job in a technical CJEP after a technical CJEP with good income, sometimes much more than what you're going to be paid after your university, So if I ever have kids, I won't force them to go to university unless they are. But if they're passionate about the subject that there's a bachelor degree in, go for it,
But You know, the Chinese parents, they always like, that's the minimum, I guess.
Yeah,
Bachelor degree is the minimum. So a lot of subjects, like they say, like it doesn't look like useful, but it's a it may lay down the foundation of the critical thinking,
totally.
the theory
Yeah,
of the logic, whatever.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, but how do you, if you say like let the find interest, but sometimes very difficult to find your own interest. Like
It is. It is, and that's why I work in a high school, right? And
right now.
right now, yeah.
Okay.
And I see those kids from 12 to 17 years old. I was a kid. At 12 to 17 years old, I was far from being a man. I was a kid. My mind was like, I was a kid. And I see nowadays they're so pressured to find their path and their career at 15, 16, 17. It's crazy. I didn't know what I wanted to do at 30 years old. You know, they should not be pressured to right away after high school go and see Jep at what they want to do, and then go to university, and then boom, boom, and go to work right after 3 years. They should explore, and from 20 to 30, it should be the years, and the teachers and the general education philosophy, in my opinion, should encourage the students to try. Thank you. To try use those years, that 10 years, to try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, until they find what they're passionate about and what they want to do.
That's a good idea. But already, I think it's doing pretty well here because you see a lot of the different ages, people from different ages in the university. That's already very good already.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
a lot of people
People
going
are
back
going
to,
back.
yeah,
Right?
going back.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's their own choice. Like exactly what you were saying.
But the problem is, many people going back, sometimes it's because they were too linear
Yeah.
in the way they did their studies. And okay, I'm on the market right now, I'm working, and 5 years after, they realized that's not what I want to do. That's what my parents wanted me to do, or that's what the society said I should do. You know, from 20 to 30 years old, I really think it should be some years to try and fail. Failing is important in life. If you never fail, and you only fail at 30, 40 years old, what happens when you fail at 40 years old and you have a family? There's consequences. If you fail between 20 and 30 years old and you're still young, and your family is not still complete, there's less consequences. So it's okay to fail, right?
But what? But I heard you said like the good income. But do you think the income will be a big factor of like how do you do in the like your
The
personal
studies and everything.
yeah.
I think it shouldn't be the first priority. If anybody, their first priority for going to study is income, I think they've been brainwashed by society or the parents. I think it shouldn't be, because you don't have to work in something that passionates you, that is your passion, but at least something that you like to do, and at least something that gives you time and energy to practice your passion or do whatever you like to do. Income is important. It is important because it's freedom, but I don't think it should be the main priority.
Okay. But what level the income would be okay for have a kind of reasonable
That's a good question.
life, or like you can say like I have some interest I want to pursue,
Yeah,
but at the same time I can take up the family, like kids educated,
that's a good question.
and you take a risk
Yeah.
to, if you want to too much into your interest, but you maybe take a bigger risk on the making a stable income.
Totally. That's why you need balance, right?
Yeah.
And it's at
But
the
also
same.
the society, like the Quebec, I think is it's not bad. Like have the safety net or whatever. You have to have the give people like a peace of mind
Yeah.
to see if you fail, you try something, you fail, you learn your lesson. But at least you're not hitting the bottom,
Yeah,
hard bottom.
that's what's good
Yeah,
here
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think it's not realistic, especially when you have a family, to just pursue your passion and not think about anything else. Unless your passion is making money, which I don't. But at the same time, I think it's not realistic long term to not care at all about what you like and just do money, because you're going to hit a wall at some point. I think, personally. Well, everybody's different. That's how I am. I'm just talking from experience. I mean, I know lawyers that hate their jobs, and on a Sunday morning they're like, shit, I have to go to work tomorrow. I don't want to live like that. I don't want my weekends to be haunted by my job. But I also know lawyers that can't wait to go to work on Monday and read their cases and everything. So, you know.
I guess some lawyers, those lawyers fighting for cases. Those very, that's kind of, I cannot understand how do they work, because sometimes they got too much, they know this guy is guilty, but you know, he got a lot of secrets, but he cannot expose have to defend the interest of guilty party. It's very, very interesting. I know you guys did bad thing, but then I have to persuade other people, like saying that you did not do that,
Yeah,
and you
some
know
people
very
see
well.
it as a sport, huh?
Yeah.
Some people see it as a sport.
It's a sport, but it's kind of a bipolar thing. You know?
Oh yeah, but maybe some people and
two halves of your brain gonna fight each other when you are sleeping, maybe.
some people also see it as they really believe in the Constitution here, and like everybody has the right to be defended, and they hold this very sacred. I don't know. Would I be able to defend a criminal? I don't think so. Some people are.
No, I think they should, by the rules, you should defend the criminals, because and you just want to argue in front of everybody, right? To make like the most possible, reasonable, just outcome. But the problem when you do that job, this job is not for everyday people.
You have to be a special kind of
have
person.
to be special kind of people. You have a trauma, I guess, when you are old, or like you look back what you did. Like, I defend this kind of really bad people.
Yeah.
And then you succeeded because of your hard work
for sure.
or your talent.
It has to be someone special, or someone that's able to put this at pause when
that's
they're
the
home,
price you pay. Probably you
Yeah.
make a lot of money of doing this, but the price later on may give you a little bit trouble.
Yeah. Well, there's a job for everyone on this planet, right?
Exactly. Some people taking off the dead people, making money out of the,
No.
That's in Chinese expression we say like people making money because of the suffering of the war crimes or whatever, when a lot of people died, but his business just kind of taking off,
Yeah.
but it's better business for him.
Yeah, and probably is necessary sometimes in the business, but yeah. But yeah, kids nowadays, I feel there's so much pressure to know what they're gonna do all their life.
It's
like
just
16,
too much
17.
information. I guess right now the pressure is like me. I'm immigrant. I've been here 17 years. The pressure is coming from all angles, especially when you can compare. You know more information, the more stress you have.
That's why I'm less and less on social media.
Yeah, I guess no social media and no cell phones. Because it's comparison, you just cannot escape. You cannot avoid. Sometimes you see everybody was showing their life, like traveling here or there, and then I used to work with this guy. Why this guy having so good life? I'm stuck in the kitchen,
But at the same time, what people show on social media, people will very rarely show the bad sides of their life, right? So it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real.
But the problem is, you see all those kind of information. Once in a while, even you kind of you build the resistance mechanism. But once in a while, you just sleep,
Of course.
And then, I feel sad, I feel down, feel bad. And also for us immigrants, I always say it's very tough for us because we left some opportunities behind and we choose the new life. So once you look back, you still have friends, colleagues, they're doing really super well. And then look at what you're doing today, you always want to compare.
Yeah, and sometimes you're like, why did I move, or why did I...
What is the fear of missing out or something? The same thing.
FOMO.
FOMO, It's when I learn English, I just learned that recently. FOMO. What is the FOMO? Then I look at Google, a FOMO, fear of missing out or something. Like being immigrant, that's very, very add a extra layer of this kind of stress.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can feel what you're saying because I live with an immigrant, right? I'm married to an immigrant, so I see that sometimes.
And also, we can read both the news on the Chinese internet and the English internet, and a lot of time they are totally the same story, same thing. You know, it's kind of a 180-degree opposite. So it's kind of a, it gives you just a little
perspective
yeah,
at the same time, though.
It's kind of a Sichuan food. You have red chili and it gives you spiciness, and you have the Sichuan peppercorn give you the numbness. So all these things putting together like a crazy dish for us to handle the mind. You know, you want to have clear mind, then end up in a poach the fish in chili oil. Not clear at all, right?
It's at the same time, maybe it gives you more perspective because you see two sides of the story, but it's confusing you at the same time, right?
Yeah. You have to be able to handle it well. If you cannot handle all those information, it gives you a lot of people get white hair so easily.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Once in a while, I'm gonna little bit depressed, and then I need to work my mind around it. Say, oh, forget. You know, I have to kind of persuade myself in my mind to see like how do I look at different things and different angles. You know, once in a while. You got too much information is a problem. The young people growing up in the social media, the same thing.
It's unbelievable. I know.
Yeah.
We have more access in a day on our cell phones that some leaders many years ago had in their entire lifetime.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's crazy.
All the intelligence reports to them, and they have on the cell phone.
It's crazy. I don't know if it should be like that. You know.
But especially when you think about the future, like if you are 18, 15 now, 15 years old, you look at what kind of career you would have, and look at the artificial intelligence right now, the robots, they're going to take over all the job markets.
For sure.
And you will see right now you have, for example, 200 million jobs available, doing a decent job that support a family. But then probably only out of the 200 million, you only need 1 million, for example. Who's gonna take those 100 million jobs, and then the rest of the millions of people, right?
Yeah.
It's stressful because, like, at the end of the day, you probably your service is not needed at all because the robots can do that a lot better than you. They don't need to rest. They just put a power cord or even wireless charging when they're working.
Yeah.
I guess that would happen.
It's
you don't stop for charging.
We live in crazy times. We're gonna see some pretty incredible things, I think. Good and bad.
Yeah. So it's but like probably they're gonna Canada, United States, they have a lot of people propose the basic income or something, you know. But the people having the jobs to support the people not having the jobs.
It's gonna create conflict there, huh?
Yeah. You would say like, what is the balance? Then you will find the balance again to see like how much do you want to work, you know. And you want to spend a lot of time like thinking about things or checking your cell phones.
It's crazy nowadays. I mean,
the technology is just making it like super difficult for everybody to just on their minds.
And people become addicted to it. Like, I see it at the school where I work right now. Kids are literally addicted to their cell phone. They cannot sit without taking it out. It's a reflex now. People don't know how to get bored anymore. It's important to know how to be bored. People cannot be bored anymore. It's a skill to have, but it doesn't exist anymore. Like, go in at the doctor's or at the dentist and look in the waiting room. Everybody is on their cell phone. They cannot wait anymore. People don't know how.
It's just social media is crazy.
Yeah.
But later on, the technology will go. The cell phone will be a much useful tool. Right now, it's just providing information. Later on, we'll just do things for you.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like if you, it's already right now. If you probably pick up the conversation, translating your language or whatever.
And right now, it's something we hold in our hand. But eventually, it's not going to be separated from us. You heard about Neuralink for sure with Elon Musk?
Yeah, Elon Musk.
This is coming, and it's coming fast.
I guess not only his company, a lot of companies are doing the same thing. I guess
this is so crazy.
Yeah, that's why the people, the rich, super wealthy people, I don't think they would die. They won't die because the technology right now, the biotech, they're gonna replace the stem cells. They're gonna repair. You know, those cells they're supposed to be should be dead and not replaced.
Yeah.
Now they can find a mechanism to replace the cells.
I don't know if we're supposed to do that, right?
Yeah, but the people always try to make a better life. And then they say like all the cells except the brain cells, like every 7 days, you kind of the new body. Every 7 days, all your cells are replaced.
That's crazy.
Yeah, old cell die and new cell. The reason we get aging or whatever is the cells get, not
They're
replacing the same
less
rate.
and less,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're gonna always have some mechanism you find already right now, the stem cell, whatever. So one area of your body got problem, and they just doing the stem cell, and then they're gonna repair it like brand new, maybe like a baby.
My God.
Yeah. So the powerful people, Bill Clinton, may not die. Bill Gates may not die. After 200 years, Bill Gates still doing the thing. Like, let's eat vegetable burger, right? Right? Bill Gates promoting the.
Oh my God. Is he promoting vegetable burgers?
Yeah.
That's his new thing?
Yeah. It's Bill Gates, and
Wow.
they simply they cannot die. Whatever they need, the kidney or the liver not working well, they can fix that too. They replace it with the printed maybe.
Wow. Yeah. With 3D printer,
Yeah.
bio printer.
Yeah.
Damn. That's scary though.
I see the people right now that are not dying today, those super wealthy people, I don't think they're gonna die in a long while. Because the technology is there, people decoding the DNA, whatever the way.
And for sure they're injecting money in that because they have money. So.
Yeah, all this, the Neuralink or other companies, the labs, they're all doing this kind of super tech, like the biotech, and then people are footing the bill. They're funding the super rich people. They are funding this kind of research.
What I find crazy about Neuralink is because I heard when Elon Musk went to a Joe Rogan podcast, one of the time he spoke about Neuralink is at some point you'll be able to speak to someone through the chip to chip without using language, only standing concept. So at some point, according to him, different languages will become not necessary. It's going to become an art to practice, but you will not learn the language anymore because you're just going to send concept. You don't need to speak the same language.
That's the only one problem they never talk about is the biggest problem if you can read the mind or something, share the mind.
Yeah.
That would be the biggest problem they never mention is the privacy. Some like if you are young, like teenager boy or like a woman, like a young girl, whatever in your mind, you don't want the people know.
No.
That's the biggest problem. The privacy has to be there.
Yeah.
If you say like you can read people's mind or something, I think there must be a firewall there, mind firewall to stop it. Because otherwise,
there must.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the firewall, you can hack it, right?
Yeah. But the people is animal, is selfish animal. Like we are dirty animals sometimes, and all those things we think about, you just it's not pretty at all.
No.
It's very, very ugly. A lot of times.
Some thoughts are best kept to ourselves, right?
Exactly. So if you, that's the biggest problem. You just cannot do that. You cannot say like you share your ideas, they can read your mind. Even the technology there, but there has to be
some kind of safe place.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But again.
But when you are you are not in your control. Somebody else controls you. So they can extract the information you're thinking.
And just a firewall, again, it can be hacked. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not good in IT, but you're good in IT.
Everything.
Firewalls can be hacked, right? Can be bypassed.
Yeah. That's the scary thing.
Yeah, it is.
And also, you can build a superhuman. Like you pick up information, like upload the knowledge to your. Probably you will be the best martial art fighter.
Yeah.
All time, because you get the jet.
Like in the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to learn
training.
Kung Fu.
Boom. Bruce Lee and even the boxing, like Mike Tyson, everything in your mind, like all the techniques. And so you have way advantages than other people.
Of course.
So that's not fair.
No.
Then you will have new ruling class. So they know the art of war, the Sun Tzu thing, like art of war.
They have it right away.
Right away. They were kind of, those people way too smart, like we're dumb comparing to them. So those elite people with the enhancement, So
it's a new species at that point.
Exactly.
And some people call them already Homo Deus, because now we're Homo sapiens. They will call them Homo Deus. It's the next species in evolution is when we have implants.
So our IQ is 120. Their IQ is 10,000.
Yeah. How can you compete with that, right? It's going to be the extinction of the Homo sapiens, or we will be slave to them.
It's like the adults tricking those kinder babies, like I give you apple, give you candy, right?
Yeah.
That's scary.
And the way, because when Elon Musk is not stupid. When he talks, people, we should listen.
Yeah.
And he says it's not going to be in 100 years. He's talking about like 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Look at the cell phone technology, all these chips. The artificial intelligence, it will be really. Look at the Boston Dynamics.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so
if you train,
this is more advanced than some technology they had in sci-fi movies in the 70s. You know. Yeah, scary times. Interesting times, though.
The things the robots from Boston Dynamics, like they can easily turn into like super army.
Yeah.
Like every one of them having the machine guns, the rocket launchers, and on their shoulder, on their arms. That's kind of already sci-fi movies already.
Yeah, for sure. And for sure the Pentagon and organizations like that will fund this because they have so much money to put into this.
It's the DARPA, right? DARPA is the...
DARPA.
Yeah, the DARPA. The internet is the product of DARPA.
Yeah, because it was during the Cold War, right? To have a way of communication. If one base explodes, they still can communicate.
I guess right now the defeat on the battlefield of Russia may be part of some technology as well. You don't know. You know, they're gonna say, "Oh, what are you planning? What are you doing?" They know probably everything about Russian troops on the field.
Yeah.
On the battlefield. So they give some information to the Ukraine, and then.
Well, they are doing that. That's what's happening right now. We see, you even see it in the media, right?
Yeah, they don't need to give the most advanced weapons. They just give little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so after which university you went to?
I went to University of Montreal.
Oh, that's the big one.
Yeah, I did a bachelor in political science there because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I went in that because international relations interested me. So I did a bachelor in political science. And after a couple of years, when I got my bachelor degree, I did a minor in East Asian study, specialized in China.
Where?
Yeah, at University of Montreal. Minor in East Asian Studies, specialized on China.
China?
Yeah.
What do you know about China then?
A bit of the history, a bit of the politics, a bit of the geography, a bit of the language, and that's when I started to travel there a lot also. Well, Asia always interested me because of Asia in general, because of martial arts.
If you know Mandarin very well, you could be a spy.
Yeah. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, a lot of them, they train them very young, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the very, very fluent Mandarin. But is that the psychology is a subject you have to learn? Psychology?
For what?
For the politics, all those kind of...
psychology, no. It's mostly political classes, some history classes, but it's mostly political classes. Okay. Interior politics, international politics, international security, stuff like that. But
what do you think of the guy, what is the French president, Charles de Gaulle?
Yeah,
the guy.
de Gaulle.
Yeah, what he said in the Montreal City Hall.
Wow, that was powerful what he said, because
But it's not correct, right? If you are visiting president to another.
But you know why he said that?
Okay.
Because his ego was attacked. Because the way it was explained to me. Maybe I'm wrong. It's the way it was explained to me. When he arrived to Canada, he wasn't greeted the way he wanted to be greeted. Like there
But the
was
state visitor is a state visitor.
It's a state visitor.
So they have protocol must be followed.
I guess so, but I guess it wasn't followed, so he was very insulted. So when his story came to Quebec, he said "Vive le Québec libre" because he was insulted, and he had
Ottawa.
He was mad against Ottawa. So that's how it was explained to me. I don't know if it's real, but that could be why he said that when he arrived in the Quebec province, because he was insulted from.
I guess
Ottawa.
I only learned this story about when I arrived Canada around that time, like 15, 16. I could not believe it. What did he say? What did you do? Like you
imagine all the separatists, how happy they were. It's it fueled the idea and everything. But I think it was just an ego thing, like most stuff in life, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound right at all. You are visiting another country, like to say like their part of the country should be independent.
Totally. But it's the French part, and he's the French president, So, but no, it's not okay. It is not.
It is very, very interesting.
No, but yeah, I think it was just an ego thing, and most problems in life, and then even in international politics, it all comes down to ego, right?
Yeah. Probably go. Do you want more rice? I guess.
I'm good. Seriously, we're just gonna have one more piece of that.
Get some hot water for this. Cool. Yeah. Just 1 second. Let me see.
I'm gonna leave some beef for Charlie. I'm gonna bring, if you don't mind, I'm gonna bring some beef back.
I bring a box too. 1 second. Yeah, you better to put something you want to take home here. Otherwise, if you leave them in front of me, I'm gonna finish everything.
Really? Yeah.
We're gonna do the damage to myself as well. I watched my weight before this. Before you came, I was thinking probably I won't eat anything, but it's not correct. It's not right. Like you have some guests you don't eat.
Do you want more of that?
No, it's fine.
No?
Totally. I try to eat less or.
Well, I don't. I actually eat like a pig normally, but I do intermittent fasting, so I allow myself to eat a lot.
Is that like I can never understand that intermittent fasting? Like it's crazy if you talking about the whole day you don't eat anything.
I don't eat breakfast usually. I skip the breakfast meal, but I guarantee you, I eat more in the total amount of what I eat in one day, more than a normal person, even if they eat breakfast. So I have what I need during the day. It's just that I have a window, 16 to 18 hours, that I just don't eat.
Okay. I thought it was 2 or 3 days not eating.
So, some people do it sometimes, but you don't do it all the time. When you do 2 or 3 days, it's maybe 4 times a year or something like that. Is it okay if I take
Yeah, take everything. Everything. It's better to take everything because then I don't have excuse to eat a lot. Every time after I have this kind of interviews, the videos, I gained a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah.
That's what's nice with intermittent fasting. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and because after around 12 hours, it's different for every people. You don't have reserve of sugar anymore in your body. So for energy, what does your body do? It goes tap in the fat reserve.
Okay.
So it burns the fat to have energy.
That's kind of a good theory.
Yeah, it's science. It's not.
It's science.
So after 12 hours, it's your fat that is used as energy. Me, I don't even do it for losing weight. It's just that it's for the focus, because when your fat is being burned for energy, it releases ketones in your body, and ketones makes you super sharp mentally. So I'm the sharpest during the day is in the morning at work when I still didn't eat, and I eat only at 2 in the afternoon, first meal, and I'm super sharp until then.
Yeah.
So I really do it for the mental clarity, not even for losing weight, but there's a byproduct also that you keep lean, you know.
But you mentioned you after university you did not do the work, you did not use that kind of.
What I studied then?
Yeah.
No.
What's your first job right after you got a job or something?
What happened is, while I was studying in university, I was working part-time in the high school where I work right now.
Yeah.
Like watching the students, organizing activities for them, replacing the teachers sometimes, stuff like that. Not really replacing the teachers, but more like making sure that the students do what they have to do while the teacher is not there. So when I finished my studies, I went to China to live for 2 years to teach English. When I came back, I wanted to enter the military in the Canadian Forces.
Wow.
I wanted to work for the government, but then the government was freaking out because I had been for almost 2 years in China. I could speak Mandarin, so they were like, "Are you a Chinese spy?" I was like, "Are you serious? Are you a Chinese spy?" So I found out that the process to enter the Canadian Forces would be very, very long. So my plan was to go back in Asia and just teach there and live there. But in the meantime, after I came back, I went back to that part-time job. And when the school learned that I was probably going to go back to Asia, they were like, "Well, we would like you to work here. So tell us a position you would like to have, create the position, and we might give it to you." So I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." So I created the position I would like to have in the high school, and big surprise, they offered it to me. So since then, since 2014, I've been working full-time at that high school. So it wasn't planned at all.
That must be a good job.
It's fun. Yeah, I like it. I'm always surrounded by young people. Even my employees, I have like 35, 40 employees. They're all young.
Yeah.
It keeps my mind young.
It's a private school, or?
It's a private school, yeah. And when it's Sunday night, I'm not like, "Oh no, I have to go work tomorrow." I'm not passionate about my job, but I love it. So it's fun.
But you said you in Shanghai you learned Mandarin there? How's your Mandarin?
Actually, I learned Mandarin before going to Shanghai at university in the East Asian Studies minor.
Okay.
And then in Shanghai, practicing it really developed. Now I'm losing it a bit because it's been 10 years.
Your best of the time, like how was your Mandarin?
When after 1 year I was in China, I would be in the subway and I would understand Chinese people talking. I could understand what they were talking about and saying.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not anymore. But I remember the first 6 months I was struggling and I was like, "Oh, come on, I learned Mandarin for 2 years. I still cannot understand." And like for English with the movies from my father, after 6 months, I just realized I was in the Shanghai subway and I could understand what people were saying around me. And I was like, "Oh my God.
That's amazing.
I can understand." Now I'm losing it, but...
one day I hope I can understand the French around me.
I hope you can also. Yeah. But French is difficult.
It's my 10-year plan.
Your 10-year plan? It started when?
Actually, it started over 10 years ago. It did not work out.
But French is a very difficult language to learn second language.
The problem is like the last company I worked before the pandemic, during the pandemic, I was laid at the beginning. I was laid off. I worked 12 years in that company.
Okay.
So the beginning there, I did not have a child. So my daughter almost 10 this year. Winter will be 10 years old. So I had a lot of free time.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife and I, we had a lot of free time. We went camping here, there, too much time. So we were super bored. So I was like trying to learn French and self-learning. And then but then 12 years ago, I had a motivation, like when we tried to plan to have a baby. So because it's Quebec, we know it's like public school is French. So I was motivated to
purpose to learn
to learn French. You know, I can teach the baby French, at least communicate in French.
Yeah.
So then I was more motivated. So I spent some time, but over the time, I lost the. When my daughter was 2 or 3 years old, we started speaking French. I thought I was, saying this word, French word, I know a lot of words. Then like she was so fast.
At some point,
she was crazy. Like at 3 years old, she probably 4 years old. She said probably teach me French.
Yeah.
Now she's really bored, like not talking to you, only English, Chinese.
It's because that age they're like sponges, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy for them to learn.
It's crazy.
My
but
God.
I still can read a lot of French today, and read a lot of them. Pronunciation was I spent way much time on the grammar, on the pronunciation part, but the listening was really bad. Listening is kind of almost zero, but the pronunciation, if you put me a word in front of a sentence, I can probably say it. Okay,
well.
yeah, so people can understand me.
So for the listening, use movies.
Yeah,
watch French movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right now is dominant everything English. The interesting, funny things, a lot of comic,
comedy.
Comedy, everything English. A lot of not everything, but the French is not. You don't have those contents. Not so
it's
much.
Different, very different. Yeah. And French as a language, everything is longer also, so it's not the same humor. It's not the same kind of telling a story.
Yeah. And it's kind of when you look at the French language. I studied the French language. Try to learn. Like a grammar, everything. I find it's like a programmer's language. It's kind of it's a lot of logic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of logic inside the language itself. Put like things here. You have this adaptive here, and then you have to have the similar format before and after, and then you put the structure.
Okay.
It's really amazing. It's a lot of but it's kind of making it longer.
Yeah.
So it's not not concise. Yeah. It's more precise, not concise or whatever.
Okay, I know. Okay.
Yeah, not abbreviate. So English is simple. It's like quick. There's one word. French, you're gonna have to describe to make another word to make it more precise, but it's longer.
Yeah. Okay,
so
I see what you say.
Yeah, losing the fun to losing the ambiguity. Yeah. When it's fun, it's more ambiguity. Ambiguous.
Interesting.
Okay. Just one word has a lot of meanings, make people guess, or the creep, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that way, but it is like this.
Or pound, like we have pound, you have too many ways to kind of interpret.
You can put many double meanings.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
you see,
it's
English,
too logic.
Me, it's my second language. But I prefer to read in English because I read faster in English, even though it's not my first language. I mean, I like to read French a lot, but if I read a book about information, I like to read it in English because it's quicker.
Yeah. And also a lot of comedies right now, they have profanity, right? Those bad words or something, those kind of swear words. It's more fun in English. Yeah. Like a lot of those crazy people. I guess a lot of crazy people that speak English, or English people most crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of comedians like, they have much larger audience, right? If like a joke is made in English, they can reach people in China. They can reach people in Egypt, everywhere. That's also
English is the international language. That's why it's the business language, right? I mean, French is a beautiful language, but it's not
Yeah.
Not as accessible.
Especially the social media age. A lot of people want to be famous, right? They motivate to create something in English. Even this podcast is in English. I speak perfect the Mandarin. So
Yeah.
a lot of people I have some guests same like me, immigrant from China. So we perfect in Mandarin, but we chose I chose to
Because you can reach more people.
yeah reach more people
Yeah.
and also I want to practice my English as well.
It's a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very good way, right?
Yeah, I don't think I need to improve my Mandarin.
No, you don't think so?
No. Unless you want to write a novel or book,
Yeah,
then
that's another story, right?
Yeah, you really find you are not good at Chinese anymore.
Yeah, because speaking Mandarin and writing it, it's two different things, right? Because the Mandarin grammar is pretty simple. It's very, very simple.
Very simple.
So speaking Mandarin, if you know the basics, it's not that difficult, I think.
And
what
also,
is difficult is reading and writing it.
And also you can guess.
Yeah. And they were always saying to me in China, in Shanghai, when I was speaking in Mandarin, very often they were laughing because they said you speak like a child, but we understand you with the context.
Yeah.
You know? But writing it and reading it, that's another story.
But when I learn English, we always read and write. We don't know how to speak. We do not know how to speak. That time, only when I was in university, that time was the cassette tape was popular that time. But
so something is said and you repeat it like as the whole
yeah,
class?
You always, sometimes the weekend you go to the library, they have a table with cassette player.
Okay.
So you borrow the tape and then you practice the listening part.
I see. What amazed me when I taught in China, I was teaching all levels, right? From 3 years old to 17 years old. Okay. I was teaching at the independent company called EF English First. What I loved about teaching teenagers there is that at the beginning when I was teaching them, first class, every group that I would have a first class, I would tell them, write something your opinion about this subject. And they would all come to me in front and say, teacher, what's the right answer? And I'm like, there's no right or wrong answer. Write your opinion. But they were not used to write their opinion.
Yeah, that's education. Yeah, that's the way of training
because
this.
It's always repetition, right? The education in China, repeat. This is the right. But I was like, no, write your own opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. And so the first few class, they were freaking out and they hated me as a teacher. But at the end of the semester, they always loved it because it was the only class where they could completely express themselves. Right?
That's correct. Because even I guess one subject, you always have you have to write a paragraph, like give the opinion about one is either historic event or something, but there's always a right answer.
Yeah. So they're not used to write their own opinion. They were freaking out. I'm sorry, I have to put money in my parking meter. Thanks to technology and AI, I can put from my phone. Won't be long, sorry. All right.
Jeez, this fish is really spicy.
It's so good.
Even the chop suey inside.
Yeah, it takes all the flavors of the oil, right? I think something fell from from the mic, and now the mic is falling.
Is the but is the battery still there? I guess the battery is still there. No, it happened before actually. This is supposed to be glued, but it's somehow it's just the cover.
It's still working.
Yeah, still look at the.
Okay, good. I'll leave it on the table. Wow, this was a feast. Thank you so much. You're gonna make so many jealous people.
It's a good amount.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's so you went to China for to teach English, right? A lot of that time was very popular.
My purpose wasn't to teach English, but it was something I could do there. Because back then, I don't know now, but back then, if you wanted to teach English second language in China, you needed a bachelor degree in anything, didn't matter, and a certificate for ESL, English second language, that you can do online. So I did the certificate online, and I was qualified to teach in China. So that's what I did there. But officially, the reason I went to China is because I met a girl when I was in a student exchange, and I went to visit and to try to make a life with her. But that was the official language. The real reason is that I was escaping my personal problems here and trying to start anew in another country. You know. But you know as well as me that your problems, they don't stay where you were; they follow you. Right?
Follow. But I say, like, I guess in the podcast we have 2 or 3 people, like 2 or 3 guys. They went to China for teaching.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
At
least 2 or 3.
It's popular.
Yeah, it's popular and they make good money.
Very good money. I was surprised.
Yeah.
It's I was living very well. Yeah.
This is because I guess the Chinese parents they kind of spend a lot of money on the education.
Yeah.
So the English is very key skills for their kids.
Especially if they want their kids to go study abroad, right? Yeah.
It's very interesting, especially the big city, like Shanghai or even one time I had a conversation with somebody, not on the podcast, and they told me, the guy told me he was teaching, I guess one of the customers in the restaurant. He told me he was teaching in English in a small city. He told me the name. It took me like minutes to figure out what city was that.
Really?
Like, I was searching the name in my geography classes to see. They told me like they produce some mineral. So that city. So it took me quite some time to search all the cities to produce that kind of
But that's interesting that he went to teach in a small city.
Very small city. They pay them well, and a lot of parents pay a lot of foreigners, the native English speaker, to even you're not native English speaker.
For them, I was native.
Already. If you have you're white or they're gonna. But especially from Canada, United States, British or Australia. Super popular.
Yeah. But that's something that I kind of regret. I went to Shanghai, which is one of the biggest cities in China. I would have liked to go in a small city or a very small town. The experience would have been completely different.
Would be very different. Yeah. That guy told me he went to a very small city. Even we used to call it the first tier, second tier city. I guess that maybe fifth tier.
Really? Yeah.
Very small city.
Wow.
So it's reaching everywhere. So like any small city, if the parents they have enough money, they will they pay a lot of money to have the English training.
Education is very important because the way it was explained to me by my girlfriend back then in China there, she had a son, and it was, there's so many, especially in the big cities, there's so many people. If the child is not in the first 2 of his class all his life, he's not gonna have the top job. He has to be the first one.
That's the mentality. I guess that's totally not healthy, to be honest.
No, it's not.
It's
of course it's not.
Even today, like my time, like I went to university in 1997. That time was not a because everybody was a little bit poor. Everybody was not. The information was not shared too much, so we knew we had to do well in the school, and then but not like today. You compete. That time we were only doing exams. We practice exams every month, every week. We have one set of exam like Chinese, English, the physics, chemistry. You have a whole set of the exam. You need to
Okay.
complete, and then they give you score.
Okay.
And then this time, where did you fail? And then next week you get a new batch of exams. Keep doing that, repeat.
Okay.
And now it's like that time that's our only focus. Now it's like 20, 30 years ago or 10 years ago or even today. They're not only competing on the exam, they're competing on the extracurricular.
I know, it's crazy.
They compete on the English, for example. So even whatever, they can do a good score on the English exam, but they want much more. They want their English native as natural as possible. Their kids, they can speak good English, and also the piano or other swimming, all those kind of stuff.
They want the full
they want to
big competition. It comes back to what I was saying. There's so much pressure on the kids nowadays, and in China, but not just in China, even here.
I guess they're looking at the criteria of entering Harvard, being accepted by Harvard. Like, not only you need to do the SAT well, you need to have be at some kind of clubs.
Yeah.
You know, you have be good at some sports or volunteer works. You know, they know the rules or criteria already there for Harvard, for the Ivy League. So they were doing that every day in their mind. For even they are far away from Ivy League in China or some city, they're still using the same set of criteria to kind of say, okay, I need this day of this weekday, we need to improve this area, that area.
But this is not healthy, because what it does is kids or teenagers are not playing basketball or learning piano or doing this or that for the fun of it anymore. They're doing it for their future.
Yeah, for the goals of the.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
And the parents, they spend way too much money on those kind of stuff.
Definitely.
And then and that's why they want their kids to listen to them completely, because they plan for them. They say, like, I have, future for you, if you do this well, and you will do super good. But if you rebel, if you don't perform well, and the parents give them too much pressure, they will say, like, you are not wasting my money, you are wasting our time. The whole focus is on you, and then you just.
And that's really bad, because I guess when you're like that, you see your children as investments. They're not investments.
That's totally investment.
But it's not supposed to be, right? But at the same time, what are you going to do? If everybody plays by those rules, do you have the choice, right?
But that's why if one day or someday the kids, they're not reaching their expectation, the fight's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
It's sad. It's sad.
It's the students you met, right? You will see, they kind of almost trained, like a soldier sometimes, like a trained.
Yeah, I know.
They behave the same way. They think the same way.
I see it at the high school where I work. I see it because there's many Chinese immigrants there that arrive. Some of them 2 years before they enter the high school, and it's
very strict.
Yeah, because here in Quebec, you can be the last of your classes all your life since you were a child, and make millions if you're a good entrepreneur. It's a completely different mentality.
Or you know how to trick people.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess how to swindle.
Yeah. So it's, but it's sad. I mean, but even like I was saying, even on Quebec students, there's so much pressure. So much pressure. I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was a teenager. No way.
But it's like, why did you leave China then? 2012 was the best time. They said 2012, 13, 14, was doing super well, the country, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, and I won't go in details, I told you, when you try to leave your problem behind and start anew, if you didn't confront your problems, they follow you, right? Okay. So they kind of followed me in China, so I came back here to confront my problems. Okay. But, so yeah.
But that time you were like in China, that time you were already practicing martial arts already?
Yeah, I've been pretty much practicing martial arts all my life, since I was a kid, on and off, trying different styles. But yes, I was actually, I was already practicing martial arts. When I visited the Henan province also, I went to the Shaolin Temple.
Yeah, Shaolin Temple.
like 1 year before, in 2008 and 2009, actually. That was quite interesting.
But did you try to enter the class?
I did
The martial monks?
Yes, I did a class with the martial monks. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Couldn't walk to my room after 4 hours of training. I had to crawl. The training is very rigorous and everything. I just feel that it's a bit like a circus now. It's much more for tourism than anything else.
But
sadly, but the training is good.
There's on the YouTube there was a test for the monk. Have you seen that? Got millions of views. There's
maybe not that video.
He was the technique to pass. There was to test. It's like there's a stick. You have to be able to, when you do jump to the stick, you have to stay there.
Like a monkey.
Yeah, like a monkey.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that guy, I suppose that's a real story. Okay.
Yeah, I saw some crazy feats there from the martial monks. It's they are pretty amazing, but again, it's all oriented now towards tourism and impressing, so the tourists are impressed, and it's supposed to be about cultivating Buddhism, about real martial valor and everything. It's not really that anymore, but the training was still very tough, you know.
What kind of styles you at the beginning you were practicing, and then over the time you changed from one to another?
Okay, the first one I practiced when I was a kid, like I was
Karate
6, 7 years old. It was judo.
Judo, okay.
Then I did.
It's a wrestling, right?
Yeah,
Judo, Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese wrestling. Then I did karate for a long time.
Okay.
Then I switched to kung fu.
Okay.
Different style of kung fu.
Did you know the Charlie Foot?
Charlie Foot. I did a style that is very close called Hungar.
Okay.
It's very close to Charlie Foot. Actually, Charlie Foot, there's some Hungar in it.
Okay.
After that, I dabbled in different styles like Thai boxing, Aikido, Ninjutsu. Then I did for a long time Krav Maga, which is Israeli martial arts.
Okay.
Then very recently, I did for a long time, couple of years, Filipino martial arts.
Okay.
When I met my wife, I said, why not try Filipino martial arts, right? And it was amazing because it's all like knives, sticks.
It's not like a Muay Thai. Muay Thai is crazy.
What's Muay Thai?
Not Muay Thai. What is that called?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
It's the empty hands is similar. It's Thai boxing. I did some Muay Thai.
You know the movie called the
On Back?
Yeah, On Back.
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
so nice. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah,
that's like
Muay Thai
brutal.
is pretty cool. Yeah, it's very brutal. They call it the art of 8 limbs. Yeah, it's very brutal. But I did some.
That guy called what is the Java? That guy, what is the guy? The actor's name? They call it like
Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa. Yeah. It's like Jet Li of Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
But he's still acting, right? He's still
acting. I think he
only the 1 or 2 after that is a little bit quiet or something.
Because he made some bad choices in selecting his movies, I think. He became a bit less popular, but he's still a star. Yeah,
I watched both. In the third 1 or 2, the movie I got the second. Do they have the third one, the sequel?
I'm not sure. They called some movies on back 1, 2, 3, even though the stories were not following. Yeah. Right.
That guy was the first 2 movies I saw. That's totally crazy, insane.
Yeah.
It's the best acting.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really good movies.
Yeah.
Simplest form movie. Perfect martial art movie, actually.
It is really amazing. Even that time I thought this is better than Jet Li.
It's a new era, right? Yeah.
So after that, but did you?
So I did the Filipino martial arts for some time, and I loved it. Yeah. Really loved it.
They have
really
a lot of weapons.
With it.
They use
a lot of weapons, mostly knives, weapons that you that you find in everyday life. That's what's fun, because in Kung Fu it was cool because I was using broadswords, spears, stuff like that. But you don't carry a spear or a broadsword.
Right? Everywhere.
So Filipino martial arts, you learn how to use like a knife that you cook with. Anything that you can find is translatable to any object you can use. So that's pretty cool. And now I'm still practicing on my own Filipino martial arts. Okay. But I started recently Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay. BJJ,
the famous BJJ.
No, it's super hot. Yeah. Super famous.
It's really fun. It's really fun. It's really addictive. And what is fun about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that you can almost test 100% your techniques because there is hit,
you don't get too much injuries,
but you can roll without hitting. So you tap when it hurts. If I go boxing against a friend and we're training boxing, I cannot go 100%. We're gonna hurt each other.
You're gonna have bruises,
right? So with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we can almost go 100% and really test the technique if it works or not. So it's pretty cool.
If you have good training partner, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm lucky because I found a school that teaches the old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu what it was meant to do, because nowadays there's a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school that they focus on the sport, so there's no more, they don't think about the hits anymore. They just think about the grappling. But the school where I train, it's the traditional one. What this was meant to be self-defense with strikes in mind. So it's pretty fun.
But you mentioned in the list of the martial arts, you mentioned the ninjutsu.
Ninjutsu?
Ninjutsu is
very briefly when I was in Shanghai.
That's the ninja thing. I watched the YouTube channel, like the real ninja, the last ninja, the real ninja. So they just like the purpose of ninja was to collect information, right?
Yeah, there were spies.
Yeah, the spies. It's amazing. So I saw that guy was they want to keep low profile, you know. And
it could be anybody from any class of the society, but it would be.
I saw that kind of video, like a ninja, like the master of ninja. That guy is amazing. Look very ordinary, but the skills, like throw that the kind of the
stars or the darts, poisons, camouflage, and everything. I didn't do it for long. It's when I was in Shanghai, living in Shanghai. I don't remember how I met him, honestly, but it was an American living in Shanghai who trained in Japan in ninjutsu. So he taught me some tricks and stuff. So I didn't really train in ninjutsu, but I trained with him maybe for a couple of months. It was interesting.
That's amazing. So you pretty much very good at fighting then.
I guess so. I don't fight a lot, but I love. For me, it really is a passion. It's like meditation for me. You know, my mind is completely quiet when I do it, and when you train for 1 hour in a fighting style, you do not think about all your problems in your life for 1 hour, because if you do, you're gonna get punched in the face or you're gonna be submitted. You have to be focused. So that's why I say it's really like a meditation, because for 1 hour you're completely focused on the task at hand, like any passion, I guess. So when I come out of 1 hour of training, not only I'm physically exhausted, that feels good, but my mind is relaxed also, because I didn't think about my problems or my stress for 1 hour or 2 hours, you know.
Yes, you only learned the BJJ for last, so that looks like it's from the influence of Joe Rogan. This guy is like promoting the BJJ like crazy, right?
It's from Joe Rogan, and also I'm a fan of UFC. And if you look at the first UFCs,
they always hoist the.
And before it wasn't like multi-styles against multi-styles. It was one style against one style. And of course, you need to be diverse and know many different styles to be complete. But you can see that one-on-one in a ring, style against style, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is pretty much the best or one of the best.
Yeah, you know? The first several times always the guy, the family from
Gracie.
Gracie family. Yeah. What is the Gracie?
Royce Gracie. Yeah.
So always
the first UFC came from them. Actually, the first UFC was a promotion event for the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to show that they were the best. Yeah.
But I was like, after watching several of the Joe Rogan podcasts, listening to, I look up the Jiu-Jitsu as well. That's pretty, almost very practical, to be honest.
It's very practical. It's a lot of fun, and if you do Jiu-Jitsu, you don't need a lot of other training. You're in shape. Everybody who has done Jiu-Jitsu for a couple of years, they're in shape. You don't have the choice, because it's so exhausting to roll with someone at the end of each class.
Especially it's very the way why it's practical, because you use whatever means, like the weak points of anybody, opponents.
leverage,
exactly. The
weak
weight,
parts of the body.
the weight, and then if you have the finger, if you give finger, you're done, right?
Yeah,
If you give somebody else, the other guy's finger, you're done.
Especially when you train the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the original Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that is aimed towards self-defense, where they keep in mind the strikes and everything, you can really use anything.
Especially the distance maintenance of the management of the distance is really crazy. It's really smart. Like if somebody can punch you, but you can within split second you can reach, you can get close to the distance they cannot punch you like that hard.
And I love boxing. I love Muay Thai. I love striking arts. That's what I did all my life. It's mostly striking arts. But in a fight with two strikers, the less trained might get lucky and clip the other one. He might get lucky. In a grappling fight, like wrestling fight, like with Jiu-Jitsu, the better one will win. There's no luck there,
The only thing I think they should be allowed in the UFC is let's fight. Whatever, like,
every rule.
Yeah, exactly. Because
right?
like if you want to win, like when you kind of grab somebody, let me eat you, like let's fight you.
Yeah.
Like, but that's real life,
It's real life. But
if you want to survive, like with your enemy,
Oh, you do everything that you can. You poke the eyes and everything.
Exactly.
The thing is,
it's a sport.
when you do but when you do grappling, people say, oh, if someone would grab me like this or try to, I would just poke the eye or bite him. Yeah, but the person who knows grappling, they can bite and poke your eye also, right?
Exactly, and you don't have a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Your hands will be tied.
Yeah,
your hands,
exactly.
and
it's so fast.
Yeah,
it's so fast with the. You don't have the time.
There's so many thousand possibilities. If you give up one weakness, you're done. A lot of times.
Totally.
It's really amazing. I saw that in Chinese we call the qingna. I guess the qingna.
Qingna.
It's the same kind of idea.
Same kind of. It's grappling. It's the kung fu grappling, right?
It's I guess. In the ancient old times, everybody figured out how to,
A lot of things were lost with the Chinese martial arts, sadly, I think, because for sure they were super effective back then on the battlefield, and it's martial arts that come from the battlefield. It's just that, first of all, I think a lot of techniques and concepts were lost with time with Chinese martial arts, and also it didn't adapt to new realities. It stayed traditional.
I guess sometimes they just did not give them a cool name.
Yeah.
They give them a cool name and then let's focus on the style. Don't change it too much. If you change it too much, probably you lose it.
Yeah.
It's like a judo or the jiu-jitsu, Japanese jiu-jitsu. It's always like a ninjutsu, right?
Yeah.
They always stay the same. So they have very distinctive,
Very distinctive, yeah.
So it's a good way, better way to preserve,
Yeah, but also the styles must adapt to new realities, right?
Yeah, and like actually, one of the guests on the podcast is like he's the master of Charlie Fo.
Here in Montreal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I guess if you go back to my channel, it's probably episode
I'll go
20.
Check. Cool.
That guy is a little bit strong, chubby, but he's Chinese, I guess. But he showed me like here, he just hard like crazy, and you can feel like he can, like also the belly, super strong.
So it's iron body.
Yeah. He's a little bit chubby, but he's super strong. Like here, I was in the video. He showed me like in the video, like he was standing here, and just you cannot stop it. It's like super hard.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, he thought he had a chi.
Yeah. Chi.
Yeah, he practiced like, and also there's a lot of shouting. Like Charlie Fo has a lot of shouting. Yeah.
Okay.
Like how they have those kind of
channel the chi and everything.
They have several sound to make the sound. Like
that's so interesting.
I guess come from characters, Chinese characters.
Yeah.
So they make the short like shouting like it's a little bit crazy. If you have studio to gym to practice that, it must be loud.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
He always brought his one of his students here. Every week, probably twice a week. I see them. Yeah.
So his studio must be close to
Royal Mount, probably somewhere, not too far.
Okay.
But he been teaching this. He's probably 50 some years old, but he's teaching for like 30 years.
Really?
All his life, he's really passionate, like Charlie Fo.
Nice.
But in China, nobody practice Chinese food anymore.
Only in Hong Kong, maybe.
Hong Kong, overseas, other countries. But in China, mainland China, they only know Shaolin.
Shaolin
yeah,
and
they only
Wushu,
know,
right?
Shaolin Wushu, and then most time it's only for commercial.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
business.
It's more like a gymnastic routine and show.
You know, it's like the mixed martial art is MMA is popular because it's for commercial as well.
Yeah.
There's a Chinese woman, very Zhang.
Jilin, Zhang.
She was ranked number one. She got twice or two champions. She won twice.
She beat Rose Namajunas, I think.
He lost to him. He lost to Rose.
She lost to Rose.
Yeah,
she lost to
Rose twice. I guess. Why do they do the rematch though? I don't understand. If you lost one, the next week they do the rematch, the UFC, right?
I don't know. Sometimes there's some weird stuff happening with UFC, but it's all about business, right?
Yeah. It's
but I love her personality. That the Chinese,
she was
very
pretty,
nice, and she's very grateful to be here. Very often smiling. She's nice to watch.
And there was the Eastern European. The lady was yelling the bad words to her, and then was beaten by her, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that woman was.
I was so happy.
that woman was going to be a bully, you see, but he lost badly. But he was one-time champion also, like that woman.
And that's the same woman that lost to Rose Namajunas.
Rose was crazy. I learned from the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, look it up. Like, this little woman was crazy. She was not big, right? She was like shaved her head, right? And but she's still fighting, no?
She's still fighting. I think she's still fighting. Yeah. She's out there.
But the podcast was 2 years or 1 year ago, right? But did she lose afterwards or something?
I don't know. I don't follow it diligently. I like to watch it, but very often it's.
But she practices Jiu-Jitsu too, I believe, right?
Yeah. Well, nowadays they all have to know a base
everything.
Of grappling. They need a base of grappling for sure.
You have to be everywhere.
Even if your main style is striking, you need to have a base of grappling. Otherwise, you won't have any takedown defense.
Exactly.
Like that's. Actually, you know what? What the UFC did for martial arts is probably one of the most significant event in martial arts history, because it weeded out what doesn't work, right?
Exactly. So, the Taekwondo at the beginning. Taekwondo was super fun. It's a fashion. Like you just kind of kick super high, one kick, and done. But then who gave you the chance? Like you don't have the chance to.
So it was really an important event in martial arts history, the UFC, especially the UFC at the beginning, when there was no gloves, there was less rules.
It's better to test out. You know, it's good chance, it's good opportunity for the kickboxing at the beginning, even like. In Montreal, a lot of for the kids, like karate would be number one, right? It's like look cool, you know.
But now more and more kids are doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I guess so, because it just makes sense.
It does. And for them also, and I did karate for a long time and I loved it. I don't want to take out anything from karate, but for a kid, it's much more fun to play Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with another kid. You grapple right away with him on the mat. Karate, you're going to be alone, standing, doing the movements. For a kid, it's long, you know.
Yeah, for the formality. That's like... Take this last piece. But you have to find a lot of time to practice those kind of martial arts.
Well, it's actually a lot of sacrifice, because you need to focus what you prioritize in your off time. You know, it's pretty much work, my wife, martial arts. I don't have time for anything else. You know, and it's fine with me. You know, I see friends and everything. Yes, I go out sometimes, but
is that costly too? No,
it is costly. It is costly, but for what it brings me, it's like therapy every time. You know. But it's a matter of priority. That's why I always say to people, find your passion. I don't understand people who don't have a passion. Me, I'm a passionate guy, if I didn't have martial art as a passion, I would be lost. I don't know what I would do. It's what drives me. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, another day. I'm gonna train today.
Maybe start a business.
Maybe eventually that's the plan for sure. But for now, I want to focus on like becoming better.
But do you kind of plan to get some belt?
Yeah. Even some certifications, some belts. Yeah, it's my goal. It's just so fun. It's so fun, and you really can challenge yourself. Especially with jiu-jitsu. It's every class you go to jiu-jitsu, you end the class by fighting full on with another human being. It's amazing. Who does that nowadays?
And you always tap, right?
Yeah, of course. And people are super respectful, depending on the gym, I guess. But at my gym, people are super nice, super respectful. They're there to help you, not to beat you. So
I think this kind of the gym like a kind of a religion, all brothers, sisters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's brotherhood born in sweat and blood. Yeah. And people are I guess it depends on the gym, but at the Agatsu gym where I am right now, it's like people are really there to help you. It's I'm one of the new guys there in jiu-jitsu, and they're not like fresh meat. No, they're not like that. I guess there are some gyms like that, but where I am, it's like, okay, you should have done this, and they help me. So it's a lot of fun, and you finish, you're completely exhausted. Completely exhausted.
But every time you will find a lot of, I did not do this well, right? This part, that part, you always get caught somewhere.
Always. And you find out that there's always a way to reverse the situation, and you improve a little bit each time. And when you finally land the submission that you've been trying for so many weeks, it's like, and it's good for confidence and self-esteem,
Jeez, why do I think I have a cramp here?
In your leg?
I played soccer yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you're a soccer player, right? You love soccer.
But that's the thing, I give up because I don't practice that much anymore. Used to play twice a week. Now because of the restaurant business, especially the pandemic, I have to work a lot inside the restaurant.
So you don't play as much as you would want.
Only once a week. And then before the pandemic or sometime, especially before having restaurant, I play twice a week.
Okay.
And also some weeknight, I live in West End around home. You have friends living close. 9 o'clock. Some few they have the lights on till 11 or 12 o'clock. Let's go out to practice a little bit. Seriously, that's. But I don't have a lot of skills even. But over the time I play, if you play a lot of years, it's supposed to improve, right? But it's not. Really exhausted. I even cannot run well. Before I was a very basic skills. I don't have a lot of skills, but I run a lot.
But now because you practice less.
Even I don't run well now. It's kind of frustrated. That's the kind of trade-off, to be honest. It's with the restaurant business.
Yeah, restaurant business, I guess, takes a lot of time. If you want it to work well.
I wash a lot of dishes, cut vegetables, doing that, but it's not helping me running.
True.
It's not
wash the dishes with your feet. You're gonna be super good.
Yes, seriously, right? I have the hamstring. I got that.
Right.
Yeah.
You think it's from yesterday?
Maybe I need some. What is that? The calcium. Maybe the calcium.
Yeah, or vitamin D. Less and less light. So I don't know.
That's kind of really tough. The 1 month ago. Interesting. So that's the hobby that's the only hobby I have.
It's important to have hobbies.
Other than learning English.
Other than learning English.
Yeah, learning English is fun. It's really I listen to a lot of podcasts, Joe Rogan, and other guy was Lex Friedman.
Lex Freeman, yeah, he's good.
Freeman,
he has good podcast.
Yeah, but sometimes it's boring. I like
He has a very monotone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know why this guy is getting famous.
I think he's a robot. Personally, he's an AI robot.
Yeah, and also he's still professing at MIT.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's a super geek.
Yeah. He's super intelligent.
Yeah,
Guy. Super intelligent.
That's why I'm.
And he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo.
He's probably his black belt or something.
He's black belt in both, I think, in Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You see, this guy is really serious about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's,
very disciplined, very serious.
That's why his podcast is boring. A lot of time, he interviews a lot of people from scientific field.
Yeah.
So it's very boring.
But he also invites some very interesting guests sometimes.
Even Grimes was. I was really surprised. Grimes was interviewed.
Who?
Grimes.
Grimes.
The Elon Musk's ex-girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
The singer, Canadian singer.
I didn't know he interviewed.
Yeah, I listened to that episode.
Really?
She was a geek too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was super geek.
For sure, if she was with Elon Musk, for sure
she was a geek. She was a geek. That's why I'm saying the other guy was I like it's interesting is Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
Tim Dillon is crazy. That guy is super smart.
Yeah.
But it's interesting fact. He said a lot of crazy things. The life is boring. You have to listen to crazy things to balance it out. You don't agree with a lot of the opinions, whatever. You may not agree.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just
right?
It's just like you're super stressed. You don't want to listen to some so correct. Those things like preaching. These things that
you want to be confronted in your ideas a bit and watching something out of the norm.
I listened to a lot of podcasts during the pandemic. I guess hundreds of hours. Like when I wash dishes, it's.
That's perfect while washing dishes.
Recently I got the Apple AirPods Pro. It's amazing. So cancel the noise.
It's noise cancellation. Yeah, it works well.
It's crazy. Here, I have this. Seriously, this one is a new. I have the old one. I have two. So luxury. I have two pairs.
And it really works well.
Yeah. This is the original one. I switched them in the little bit quiet. I use the first generation without noise cancelling. This one, the noise cancelling second generation, is crazy.
Oh yeah, really?
It's really amazing.
Okay, good to know.
In the kitchen, because you have fan, ventilation, everything, the noise is really
dishes and everything.
This is amazing. So now I'm really luxury. I carry both of them same time.
So why? So you don't use the battery of the other one if you?
No, sometimes like.
You want to be able to hear what.
This one they have the button. You click. You can switch between the noise cancelling and the regular.
Okay.
The transparent.
So why do you have still the other one?
Because I used to have this for a long time and it's working perfectly still.
Okay.
So 2 hours of battery, I guess. So
you don't use the battery of the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sometimes it's just show I'm rich. I have two sets.
Yeah, you have two sets of AirPods.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only thing I'm luxury right now. Super luxury.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. You have two sets of AirPods. That's cool.
It's really this really shocked me. The quality of the AirPods Pro.
We can say whatever we want, but Apple is making good products.
Yeah. This one's, I guess it's more than $300. This the earphone.
If it works well like that,
it's crazy. Super very expensive for the earphone.
Easy to lose.
Yeah, easy to. I haven't. This one, I never lost it. I used it for 2019. More than 3 years. It's still working fine. The battery time is still good. This is really shocked me.
Quality product.
Yeah, the first generation. Probably the first. I'm not sure. AirPods.
Well, that's a nice advertisement for Apple right there. Maybe you should be sponsored by Apple in the podcast.
Only during the winter time, when it snows, when it's on the ground a lot of snow, it's white. It's I used to lose it once, but the good thing about this, if lost the contact with your ear, the play stopped, so you know right away.
So you could find it even if there was.
One time I was able to find it
in the snow.
In the snow. Yeah, because I know it's few steps away.
Yeah.
So I just walking back and forth within few steps.
That's good.
So
it stops when it drops. Stops.
It stops right away, and then you put it back. It's automatic. It's auto detection. So you put it back, the play will resume right away.
Crazy.
Yeah. Or you tap twice. That's the older one. You tap twice to pause, to resume. Tap twice again. Then this one, the new one, there's a little area of the end. You can click it. You click to pause and then resume, and then on the click, and you can go up down to adjust the volume.
Wow.
So it's tiny. Look, it's
Wow.
here. So just this part. So you either
Really?
click
And
or you
it's
move
touch
up down.
also, right?
Yeah. You can move up down to adjust the volume.
And you can speak into it, and people hear clearly. And
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you hold it, you press and hold to switch the mode of the noise cancelling and the transparent. So sometimes you want to hear the surrounding, you just hold it for a few seconds. You hear the sound.
And you really see the difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
Day and night.
That's
Day
amazing.
and night. Yeah, that's the best so far. It's really shocking. So in the last week, when I wash dishes, it's amazing. I listen to podcasts super clear, and it has the sound is really nice. It's like really like a surrounding.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like if you.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. Like
Wow.
you cannot hear people talking. Like
Imagine in 5 years.
I guess
what
they're
they-
already ahead of time.
Yeah,
I guess they're already
yeah.
already ahead of time. So these two, I carried them like last week. I just received them last week. It's amazing. Like wash dishes and in like walking the street. Because if you wear this, the traditional one, the old one, you have to put the maximum volume. Like when
Otherwise,
you,
you're gonna hear.
yeah, exactly. When you walk, like I always go to Tim Hortons, buy coffee. Like I always listen, because that's the way of me practicing my
Oh yeah, your
English.
English.
Yeah,
You're
to,
listening.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Well, that's
Like,
good
lot of-
actually. If you listen to podcasts for learning English, it's perfect.
It's seriously,
Perfect.
It's the best way I found during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I was always listening to CBC radio, CBC and others. But it's sometimes all news boring. But like when you find an interesting podcast,
You can choose what
Yeah.
they're gonna talk about.
Exactly.
So, it's
So
interesting.
especially the Elon Musk, like the Elon Musk podcast, I was kind of found that on the YouTube. It's amazing. You know, the whole interview, like this guy talking 3 hours for nonsense, not nonsense, not knowledge. This guy is, you learn a lot from
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's really
He's brilliant.
yeah,
He's brilliant.
he's really smart. So
Yeah.
you know, doesn't have some people right now recently they feel against because his political view. People drop a lot of fans. I believe some people turn against him because of the Twitter, because of
But I think he
political
doesn't
views.
really care.
Exactly. On that level,
Yeah,
whatever
he
you
doesn't really
say
care.
or you do,
Whatever.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
If he cares, he's not in that position.
exactly.
Yeah, he cannot reach that
It's
level.
like what Joe Rogan said, right?
Yeah.
All the comments
Yeah.
on his Instagram and everything, he doesn't read anything.
Yeah, the
doesn't
people on
care.
the top. Yeah, people on the top. They always say like the people like all the monkeys in a tree, like the top people, the top monkey look down, all the smile faces.
Yeah,
And,
they don't care.
And the monkeys on the top, they look up, all the assholes.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
That's
Makes sense, huh? Makes
that's
sense.
The hierarchy
That's a
of
good one.
yeah.
That's a good one.
That's the hierarchy of the society.
Yeah.
You know, on the people they don't care. You know,
Yeah.
they give you the shit every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's really like that. I mean, and that's why I'm saying if Elon Musk says that in 50 years we can communicate mind to mind with Neuralink, we should listen.
Yeah, probably that would happen.
Yeah.
It's like that's why it's amazing. I learn a lot of stuff from the smart people. You listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like it may apply to you, it may not.
And you might agree or not.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's still interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of just expand your view. You know.
The problem is some people watch these podcasts, and they will not only believe everything, but they will feel that they have to agree with everything. That's what can be dangerous.
Yeah,
You need some critical thinking.
Yeah, exactly. You see,
Yeah.
just for me, only on top of that, I improve my English.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And you improve your knowledge at the same time.
Exactly. So this this crazy people or that crazy people, and then you have normal people, have genius people. Some of them really genius. A lot of the scientists, like the top scientists, like interviewed, like that's amazing. This guy used to do this, or like he's thinking, like
Imagine we would not have that access to that knowledge 20 years ago. It was completely different.
The news you don't want to listen too much because then
you want the bare minimum to know what's happening.
Yeah.
But you don't want to dive deep, I think, into it.
A lot of them opinions, not even news. Yeah, a lot of them not even news.
And not only opinion, they choose how they want to tell it, so they sell more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all a business.
Yeah. But podcast, you know this guy is bullshitting, but you know already. You know this guy is not a scientist. He's not a journalist. He's not a serious. He's not a responsible.
He just wants to learn, or he's interested about something.
Interesting things, or want to entertain. You know, just and teach people English.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the different part of the world, like the people there, they want to learn English to practice, practice the listening or the knowledge from English word. It's perfect, I guess. Even the boring Lex Friedman, it's super boring. Sometimes, I want to sometimes I was a guest in the AI or the chess. See this AI. I want to know what does this guy think about right now, how the AI is doing, how advanced it is. So I just listen to the boring podcast.
But at the end, it's still interesting because the subject is interesting, right? So even if he has a monotone voice, you still learn a lot of stuff. Yeah, because he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, I still don't understand why he has so many followers. He got a million.
I think it's his intellectual honesty that attracts people. He's very honest with himself. He's really there to learn. So even though he's monotone,
but a lot of topics they are a little bit very, very scientific. Those scientific, me, I'm technology guy. I'm working IT. But some of them interest me, especially the computer related, really how it's going, the chips as well, the technology on the chips, the 7 nanometer or the right now 3 or 5 nanometer technology.
I don't know anything about
exactly. That. So, but then that will interest me. It's
I don't know
the hardware.
I really feel I've been saying that for some time now. I feel like I was born 10 years too late, because I would have loved to be a teenager in the 80s. And because I think the 80s were the perfect years, and I feel overwhelmed with technology nowadays. People my age normally are much better than me at technology.
Because you studied the political science.
Yeah, it must be because of that.
Doesn't care about technologies.
No, must be because of that. Yeah, in part.
Yeah, but another thing before we finish, I want to know, what do you think of Montreal? What do you like about Montreal? You don't like Montreal?
That's a good question. I don't like the constructions, but seriously. What I love about Montreal is the multiculturalism. Many people from different places. That's why I love the borough of Côte-des-Neiges, where I live, where I first met you guys.
Côte-des-Neiges has, it's a melting pot.
It's amazing. Everywhere. You walk on Côte-des-Neiges street, it's like Lebanese restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Korean restaurant, Thai restaurant. It's amazing. I love it for that. If I have the choice, I would love to live in Côte-des-Neiges for the rest of my life, for sure. What I like less about Montreal is people trying to make it not a multicultural city.
They said Francois Legault is on the right side. It's like I heard some customers, they discuss politics with me. They always say Francois Legault is like a Quebec version of Trump.
Yeah, he's,
with your French knowledge, is that a little bit close to the truth?
I think he's on the side of what will get him elected the most. That's what's happening. So,
but on the spectrum, must be on the right, right?
Must be on the right, because if I look at his policies, especially for immigration, for me, being married to an immigrant that still doesn't have the citizenship is horrible. It is horrible, and yes, it is very rightist. Leaning really on the right, and
it's probably more right than Trump. Trump married to an immigrant.
On some issues, yes, not on all, but for immigration, maybe. And I consider myself right centrist. I have a lot of left positions, but more on the right. But what he's doing with immigration in Quebec is horrible, and right now I know for a fact because my wife is an immigrant and I know her friends and they know friends. More and more, it's sad because it's not true, but more and more Quebec province is being seen around the world as a racist province because of those policies.
Yeah. Also,
and
like another good like a good indicator is like where do you win your seats? If you win your seats, all the rural area, there's no single seat on the Montreal Island or surroundings. That means like not liberal. Liberal always like on the populous, on the urban centers, right? But then this guy is even he got a lot of seats, but all the seats, all the rural area of Quebec. That's even more divided than the United States. Looks like
for this, and so. What do I think about Montreal? We should make a city-state like Singapore with Montreal.
That's like what is the movement of Quebec? There's a Montreal bloc.
Montreal bloc? I didn't know that. I was kidding. Really?
Yeah, seriously. There's the mayor candidate of Montreal, the Barbara. What is that? The name?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But so there's a Montreal bloc, but they want to.
They just this year
they want to be independent. Montreal independent.
They focus more interest of Montreal people.
Okay.
So it's the Montreal bloc.
Okay.
They were in the past election, provincial election.
Okay.
I don't know how did they do.
I didn't see it. But
and
to be honest, I studied in political science, but I'm becoming less and less interested in interior politics and more. How to say
international?
I always has been more interested in international politics, but I'm more and more what's the term? I'm trying to find it in English. Not septic, but I'm taking in French and in English at the same time. It's like who we elect in Quebec, less and less I see a difference that will happen. It's like I'm more and more I feel like politicians are it's their self-interest.
Self-interest. Cynical.
Cynical, thank you. Yeah. Even though it's exactly
but they said being cynical is doing really detrimental stuff to the democracy.
Definitely.
Because everybody is cynical, so who's gonna do?
I don't want to be cynical.
Yeah, they don't want to win over you.
I know. I don't want to be cynical, but more and more I am becoming cynical. It's even though I don't want it.
That there's you can tell like what is the voting turnout rate, right? If like 80% people go out voting, so that's that good. Means participating rate is. But I guess right now it's 40%, 30% of people vote.
Yeah, well, the big problem, and I was having a discussion with a friend with whom I studied in political science back in the days. It's more and more, especially in the West, and I'm talking about Canada, United States, Great Britain, whatever. There's more and more a lack of leadership. So in either spectrum, from the left to the right...
If you talk about leadership, that would be Trump. That's like too powerful. Like Francois Legault is too powerful. He's really heavily...
They're powerful, but their leadership as a person, they lack leadership as people. Leadership is uniting people, whether it's from the left or the right.
How can you tell that? That's like soft power.
It is soft
That's
power,
like a
but I feel
like Brazilian PJJ, like a soft power. You don't punch people.
For example, even though some people might not like him, and he did some pretty bad things also, Clinton had a lot of leadership. He could unite people from the left and from the right, even though he was a Democrat.
But that time was different. That's not social media time.
Yes, social media has a big part to play. About it, that's for sure.
I think social media could be the game changer it's a new age.
It's dividing people.
Exactly, the new age. So the society has to adapt the new age of technology.
I think you're right on this.
Because otherwise, the how the government is elected or the society is organized probably going to be forced to change to adapt to the new reality of the social media.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's...
But the old way of thinking, if the politics, the international politics, if you look at there's a professor from Chicago University on Ukraine and Russia, because his theory was like the geopolitical power. Still, I guess his title was saying like that's right now they think the way Ukraine and Russia the way played out, they think the West leaders they are doing the 21st century new thinking, but they still think the 20th century of the geopolitical power, the balance still was the key reason behind. So
Maybe,
there
yeah.
was that guy was very famous, the professor. He got the YouTube get millions, maybe tens of millions of views. He explained the
Who is it?
uh, it's probably I text you later.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
very famous professor. His opinion is not popular in West right now
Because it's probably true.
because it's the old, but may not be true. My personally, I may not agree because it's the old thinking of the political power of the influence of Russia has to control certain area. The influence you cannot cross that certain invisible line, whatever his political power. But right now it's like with the social media, the majority of the countries they can unite together
Yeah.
to condemn you and then do the sanction against you. So the way the old ways of you have the power right now, you see all the sanctions. They even cannot have good chips
No.
to do the missiles.
Yeah.
So it's you never know. The new technology era maybe make all people unite to you. So you are facing the enemy of you have a lot of opponents instead of
So
like
it can divide people more, but it can unite people more also.
exactly. So like all the companies they pull out the business from Russia, so they cut the supply to Russia business. Even the military industries they cannot produce tanks, they cannot produce all those weapons. This creep they never happened before.
Yeah,
And also the supply chain. They never in the old World War II. You don't rely on the foreign country to
No.
manufacture
you're
your
right.
weapons.
Yeah.
Now,
with the globalization,
yeah.
it's
right now, all those G7 countries, they all saying like we don't sell you those things, and then what do you don't even have good weapons
because you don't even know how to do anymore by
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. So it's the
Lost the knowledge.
it's the new era.
Yeah.
New era is like the people, at least in the West, majority of people they condemn Russia, right?
Yeah.
Because they support the government doing all those kind of sanctions against Russia.
Yeah.
So nobody gonna go protest saying like, what you do to sanction Russia is not right, right? So
No.
so it's
Just gonna put some more.
it's very very so old way of thinking the political science. They saying like you have power over another country or like you have nuke. The other country is smaller, so you would say you respect my territory
Yeah.
or like this area territory. You have to respect my existence, my But that's the old way of thinking. Could be changed because it's true before the 21st century. 20 years ago, probably true. The guy, the professor, the idea, probably true. But you never know what's happening right now with the social media, with the new
The
technology.
social media is changing everything. Whether it's in politics, election,
election,
media, everything.
Also, the morale of
Yeah.
the whole soldiers' morale. All the people around, like go to the Google or the whatever the social media or the Twitter, they say what you are doing is wrong. They all say like you are wrong, and then your morale will be affected.
Yeah.
So it's like I will send you that.
It's a new variable that you have to take into account.
Yeah, this variable could be the key variant, right?
Yeah.
This variable could be the very key variable. Like you maybe Putin miscalculate this one, so he has to pay the price.
Look what happened in the last election in the Philippines. The son of the last dictator,
Oh yeah,
Marcos.
yeah. He came.
How did he win? He didn't do any debate. Almost no announcement or anything. Almost no publicity. All he used was social media, and he got elected. His strategy was social media, and he started his strategy many years before the start of the campaign. So he was slowly implementing himself in the social media
do
platforms.
majority of people support him? Or?
Now, yeah.
Yes.
But it was because without realizing it, they got to know him through the social media, and through social media he got elected. He almost only used social media to get elected. He didn't even participate in the debates. He's the president of the Philippines now.
Seriously.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So,
And he's the son of
the
an old
dictator.
dictator.
Yeah.
Which some people say he was unfairly. We unfairly said he was a dictator. Maybe, maybe not. But the fact remains, his son is now the president of the Philippines with a majority that support him. Never did a debate. Didn't use publicity. Only social media.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No cheating, huh?
No cheating.
Okay.
Well, apparently.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And well, bravo. Good on him. He understood the game.
Oh, is that the other guy? The previous president was the tough guy.
The tough guy. Yeah,
executed
Duterte. Yeah.
the drug war, right?
Yeah, Duterte. But then now it's a new one.
Now he's out.
Now he's out. But the vice president is the daughter of Rodrigo Duterte, the old president.
So maybe the old president could be could be revenged against because he kind of killed a lot of people, right?
Yeah. Yes, but that's a complete other subject. But we cannot compare the politics of the Philippines to the West, and it's very sad what happened. Many people died. Many innocent people died under his rule. But Philippines needed a change because
so people agreed.
So bad.
Yeah, a lot of people agreed.
Not everybody, but most people agreed with what Duterte did.
So the tough line.
Tough line because it's a bit like cancer, you know. Sometimes
you have to do
you
the
need
operation.
Chemotherapy.
Yeah, you have.
Or chemotherapy, you're gonna kill bad cells, but it's necessary. So it's a very touchy subject because many innocent people die, and it's very sad. But maybe, just maybe, it's what the Philippines needed. Some people say that it's back to where it was and it didn't change anything, but who knows?
But is Philippines a good country, right? The economy is doing well, or like?
It's doing better.
But what level? Is it like a Thailand, Vietnamese? Are they the same level, or which one is?
It's kind of the same level.
Same level?
Same level. With Bongbong Marcos, the new president, the economy is supposed to go up because he has a lot of contacts in the United States. He's very business oriented.
But he's not pro-China.
He's not pro-US. He's more pro-US.
Wow,
yeah.
That would be a little bit attention there.
Yeah, and for sure, United States are happy about that. You know? Because it's a good ally to have in
always
this,
the ally, right? Yeah, always the in World War II also.
Yeah,
always the,
and
used to be
Vietnam War also. Philippines were helping.
Wow, the China won't be happy.
No,
with this new president.
No.
Great,
for sure not.
Yeah. Anything you want to add before?
I'm just grateful you invited me. Seriously, it's for my wife and I. This is one of our best restaurants ever. We always have a great time when we come here. We always eat well. I always recommend your restaurant to everybody I know. It's always a pleasure to be here. So that you invited me to your podcast, I was so happy.
It's great because I know you kind of know you for 6-7 years already from this.
Yeah.
And you know you practice martial arts. That's really not very common these days.
People don't have time, I guess, anymore.
Yeah, consume a lot of time.
Yeah.
And great, thank you. We can wrap up here.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, great.